This video is brought to you by Mubi, a curated streaming service showing exceptional films from around the globe. Get a whole month free at mubi.com/fullyfilmy. I don't know how many people in my generation were fans of black and white cinema while growing up. It was always stay in the channel whenever my parents or grandparents put a black and white movie on TV, and it just followed on to adult life. And imagine old cinema but in an absolutely different language. Too much of a commitment. Of late, especially this lockdown, it was lovely to see so many people become fans of old foreign cinema, be it Japanese or Korean or Iranian, especially after Parasite's Oscars week. And we ourselves did Around the World in 50 films, where we discussed a number of those movies in detail. But what if I tell you, most of what you saw was inspired by a man from here? Leave foreign cinema. What if I say Martin Scorsese, the man who made Irishman, Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, came into cinema after watching one creator's work from India? What if I say Francis Ford Coppola picked up screenplay instructions from this man and went on to write The Godfather, arguably one of the greatest films of all time? And we as Indians, how much do we know about? Hello everyone, welcome to Fully Filmy. This is Vishnu Aravind here to talk about a man who is undoubtedly the greatest Indian creator across eras of cinema, Satyajit Ray. And if you are a layman like me, walk through his films and philosophy. Satyajit Ray. If you remember, I called him India's greatest creator, not a filmmaker or a director. That is because he's a writer, director, calligrapher, illustrator, an author, a film critic, a musician, and apart from this, he is India's first graphic designer, owned a children's magazine, edited his own films. The last time we saw someone so multi-talented. Just kidding. His name may not be unfamiliar to any of us because you may have seen it mentioned by your favorite director in one of his interviews or in the thank you credits of any big film. But this video is for me to explain what did he do to rise up there. Hailing from Calcutta, rightly named the City of Joy, Satyajit Ray was an illustrator by profession until he found his calling through cinema. And by the end of the story, it would be a criminal understatement if I just say that he was the person who put Indian films on the map, because frankly he did much more. More than inspiring film legends, more than being considered as a parallel to Akira Kurosawa, more than being a Bharat Ratna and an Oscar awardee, Satyajit Ray was the pinnacle of creative freedom one could achieve in art and cinema. See, I feel cinema is one art form that cannot be separated from emotions. Paintings can hardly make you weep. Music, maybe. Books and cinema, apart from all those intellectual baggage, exist only to engage with our emotions. And Satyajit Ray was one of the first people in the world to put this message forward from India. What makes him so special is not just the content he created, but also when it came out. Today we live in the golden age of cinema where anyone can express anything they feel through art. There is parallel movement between art and commercial cinema, as they call it. There is social media, box office trackers, and so many things. But imagine 1950, when India just got its independence and still was considered as a third world country. The heaviest impact until that day our country caused in the world stage was in the 1936 Berlin Olympics. But it was a time when art was seen as art. Ray's first film, Padher Panchali, the one that started the Appu trilogy, was one of the first films in the entire world to earn this tag. It was considered as pure cinema. Now, this isn't a title that is given to everything. Ray told in an interview that 8 years before Padher Panchali's release, he saw Bicycle Thieves in a theatre in London, and when he came out of the theatre, he decided that he wanted to be a filmmaker. Bicycle Thieves is one of the first films in the world which proved that films can be used to tell the state of the society. Now there is this man who gave us a film about not the extremes of topics. It was about two siblings, Durga and Appu, living in rural Bengal and their daily life. But this was how the world saw India for the first time. In its rawest of portrayals, along with eye-level shots, natural lighting, long takes, along with so much technical brilliance the world never saw from anyone in the world, leave alone an Indian. That made the Appu trilogy still something to define Indian cinema by. When Bollywood was just music, dance and showbiz, he proved that cinema can also be used to tell our stories. Why? Why is his creations being talked about so much? Neo-realism in cinema isn't everybody's cup of tea. Not then, not now, not ever. Because the director travels in a very thin line from the film being catered to the masses and the film being tagged as a documentary. The success of a Satyajit Ray film was because of the combination of this exact ideology and the universality he brings with it. He was keen on writing most of his movies in Bengali itself, but that never meant the film was for Bengal. From America to Africa to some interior parts of Europe, he made sure the movie's idea can communicate with every single person in the world, wherever he is. Every film of his was a beautiful marriage between this environment and the emotion that doesn't need a language to be understood. The universal theme of the movie, how well it's treated, and the low production cost was the three pillars of a Satyajit Ray film. He never wanted to make big names act because he thought the story and the idea should drive it rather than the names, just like his inspirations did. And progressive and ahead of time is just mere terms to be used here. Because today when we call someone who doesn't judge a man who does household duties as progressive, this man showed the same in Aparajitham in 1956. Patriarchy and the insecurities of a man over his woman is still not explored in today's cinema. He showed the same in Mahanagar in 1963. As a children's illustrator who created characters like Feluda, the detective, and Professor Shanku, the scientist, one of his short stories, The Alien, was scripted and given to Warner Brothers and was allegedly the inspiration behind Steven Spielberg's E.T., which released in 1980. But Spielberg denies all the allegations, and Ray too didn't want the credit because that is not something he wanted to be remembered as. How to go about his filmography? See, this is a very broad question, and all I can do is suggest here so that you can also understand the weight of the work that he did. First of all, there's a disclaimer: his movies are known to be incredibly slow. No taking that back, but as Kurosawa said about Ray's works, it can also be described as a majestic snail or like a big river, and it flows without stopping. So about the films, there is of course the Apu trilogy that I've been talking about all this time. 3 films about the growing up of this kid named Apu in West Bengal, runs up to 6 hours with each film up to 2 hours. The greatest cinematic experience you can ever enroll yourself into. Take my word for it. If you're not ready to commit yourself for 6 hours directly, you can try Nayak, a must watch for every single person who wants to understand Satyajit Ray. It is a character journey of a movie star doing an interview in train, going about his past life and experiences to an interviewer, about being raised from a nobody, and step by step when life gave him what he wanted, and when he was at the most vulnerable drunk state, told us how success got into his life. How he narrates it is what makes it different from just another rags to riches story, because the story here is all about how he had too much riches to control. And how much ever riches you got, it doesn't give the happiness you were longing for. And the woman who interviews him, played by Sharmila Tagore, understands his story and safeguards it even though that's not what she wanted to do at first. It's a very, very beautiful touch. If you're a huge fan of Malayalam cinema and how Kerala is shown in Malayalam cinema, I would suggest you to explore Bengali cinema starting from Ray's Mahanagar, a film about a contemporary middle-class lady in Calcutta who goes against family traditions and social stigmas to go to work and be the sole breadwinner of the family. If you had seen Aval Oru Thodarkadai by KB Sir, this is where women empowerment started and beautifully continued in Gaire Baire, a film about the emancipation of women and what it does to love. And what follows is a love triangle between 3 wonderfully written characters, another evident trope that you can see in K. Balachandar film. It went on to win a Palm d'Or in the Cannes Film Festival. It is streaming on Movie India. And he is known for showing Calcutta in its truest nature along with a very interesting turbulence. To a city in India with so much warmth and so much joy that brings with it, he gave a very fitting tribute to it in Agantuk, the last film of his career, about a mystical stranger who comes onto the city and forms a relationship with the lead. This film on movie is Calcutta trilogy, along with so many other Bengali filmmakers paid their respect to Calcutta. Charulata is a women-centric masterpiece which Ray considers as the best film of his career. Shatranj Ke Khiladi on movie features a story that is set in the Sepoy Mutiny times of 1857, features the Indians fighting over the British, and this was metaphorically represented by a game of chess for the entire film. This showed that Ray was versatile in handling period films as much as he could handle progressive ones. Ganashatru was another Khan entry streaming on Movie India, which showed the world how much performing art can be essential to spread news about the injustice to people, about how the big names in the system control what we see, and art is a tool to open out to the world without any discrimination. Hence was an ancestor to Madras or Pariyerum Perumal or Asuran and whatever we see in Tamil cinema today. If you feel you want to do something very different but for a very short time, to get into his mind to see how he creates set pieces and dramatic character patterns, you can start by watching one of his short films. It's called Two. It's on the Oscars official channel on YouTube. It's a little fable about two kids which goes on for about 12 minutes without any dialogues and music that was composed by him. And I swear to God, you wouldn't have seen anything so simple yet so beautiful. If you're a reader, not a watcher, there is no book better than this collection of short stories book written by Satyajit. Whether you like this video or not, the book is something that everyone must read with the variety he gave us. There is horror, there is mystery, there is supernatural, there is sci-fi. You name a genre, there is a short story about. I could go on and on and on about it, but it could never prove justice to whatever he created. So if you're really interested to watch the best of Ray's work on Movie India, there is a link in the description which you can click and you will get a free 30-day subscription to Movie. How much better it can get? We recommend you the best of cinema and we give you a free subscription too to watch it. Please watch the movie and tell us what you feel about it in the comment box. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Fully Filmy and hit the bell icon.